What's going on, guys? What is going on over at the Federal Reserve, right? So, I did an episode about a month ago or something like that about XRP and RippleNet and Nicera Gesera, and actually got over 1,000 views. Pretty strange. Not my typical topic, but ever since then, I've been keeping an eye on what's going on with the Ripple lawsuit. And in that episode, we talked about how Ripple was positioning itself as an alternative to the SWIFT system. And the SWIFT system was the payment processing system that central banks use to communicate cross-border from country to country. It allows the quick settlement of transactions. Basically, it allows banks to verify that somebody has the money that they're claiming they have and opens that money up to whoever it's transferred to, technically before the money itself is transferred. So it's faster. Although it's faster, it's not what I would call fast, because there is, on top of that, RippleNet, and RippleNet is a lot faster. And a lot of these DeFi cryptocurrencies, that's what they're pursuing, right? Speed, a reduction in the amount of time it takes to process payments, and a reduction in cost. And that's what the new DeFi crypto revolution is about, right? Because Bitcoin's been around a long time. Hedge against the dollar, digital gold, got that. That's not what XRP is. That's not what DeFi tokens are. There are differences between cryptocurrencies, and unfortunately, I'm not a crypto channel, and I'm not going to get into them. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that there's a big difference. Like if you're investing in a DeFi token or you're investing in a processing token as opposed to Bitcoin, which Bitcoin is just a way to store value, right? Because you can't afford to process the payment transactions at a cost benefit that makes sense. So in that respect, people who don't really know a lot about cryptocurrency, and they're saying Bitcoin is fiat, which is hilarious because the dollar is fiat, and they say Bitcoin is never going to be a replacement to the dollar, which is equally hilarious because it was never posed as a replacement to the dollar. Think of it as digital gold. It's a digital store of value, right? So as the dollar is devalued into oblivion, which you can look at it on a time scale, the value of Bitcoin will go up. Why? In dollars. Why? Not because the value of Bitcoin is going up, which it is, but it's a twofold process. The value of Bitcoin is going up because more people are buying it, but also the value of Bitcoin is going up because the value of the dollar is going down. Now, the big threat that gold and Bitcoin pose to Federal Reserves and big banks is that as they hyperinflate the dollar, as they devalue the dollar, and they move into this great reset, this new digital currency that they're all in the background making. They're all working under the carpet to get this new digital cryptocurrency that is a central bank cryptocurrency, and it's going to be way better than all of the Wild West cryptocurrencies that are happening right now. We need like Western Union to come in and settle these wild banks that are existing. It's the same thing that happened during Manifest Destiny when you had the small banks as they were expanding west, but I digress. All of that, just for me ranting, is to say that today the payment processing system for the Federal Reserve went down. And even though, like I said, this isn't my niche, this is something that has to be reported on if you report on current events, period. And especially when you look at it in the context of the current XRP RippleNet lawsuit. So the federal government is coming after an alternative to the SWIFT payment processing system, to the Federal Reserve processing system, right? So RippleNet you could use to transfer money from one country to another much cheaper and much faster than you could using the SWIFT system, which only banks and large institutions have access to anyways. While they're attacking RippleNet and XRP, the SWIFT system goes down. So let's look at this from the 30,000-foot view. The SEC, the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, they're all working together in the background to establish some kind of Federal Reserve digital currency. At the same time, the SEC is suing and attacking a relevant alternative to a payment processing system across country, RippleNet. At the same time that's happening, now all of a sudden we have problems with our Federal Reserve payment processing system. And we all know what they like to do with problems. The Hegelian dialectic, the problem, reaction, solution. And so now as a YouTuber and somebody who watches the current events and tries to report on them, you have to look when the problems happen because most likely they're created, right? So they're defending the SWIFT system by attacking RippleNet with the SEC. They're creating this problem in the SWIFT system that's going to have to be fixed. What's going to be the fix? Well, the fix is going to be what they are planning on rolling out for this entire time, right? So they're at the same time they're kind of pushing out RippleNet, and they're also creating this problem that Ripple could solve, but they're not going to allow it to solve because they're going to sue them and keep them on the sidelines. Now this problem is coming up, and they're going to have to fix it. They're just going to have to fix it, and you know what the fix is going to be? Digital dollars. It's going to be digital dollars, guys. May not even be called the digital dollar. Might be called the Federal Reserve digital note. I don't know, but I'm starting to see things are all kind of coming together into a certain predicted future event. I think that's a fair way to phrase it. So when I saw the news today that the Fed system has gone down, they called it an operational error, as the Fed described it, impacted multiple services, including its pivotal automated clearinghouse system, which connects depository and related institutions send electronic credit and debt transfers. There were no initial indications that foul play was suspected. So I went over to the Federal Reserve page itself, and you can see the entire day laid out right here. At 12:43, they reported that their issues were down. Or by 2:14, the majority of them had already known what was going on. They were calling it an operational error, and they were trying to fix it. By 2:32, they had restored the system. 2:36, yeah. So 2:32 and 2:36, the system was restored. So it was down for about 2 hours, from about 12:43 to about 2:43. And then by 3:15 today, they had everything back up. But they're trying to process now a backlog in all of these transactions, and they're not really sure how it's going to affect us. Because a lot of the payment processing systems that went down were ones that are used to process direct deposit, ACH check transfers, stuff like that. Like the new ability that you have in some businesses to pay them directly with your routing number and your account number, that's the ACH. That payment processing system is relatively new and from the Federal Reserve. So we have all this going on right now. The interesting thing about it is when it talks about all the services that went down today, curiously removed from that list of services is the SWIFT system. It mentions every other Federal Reserve system except for the SWIFT system today. So let's talk about SWIFT real quick. How can the entirety of the Federal Reserve payment processing system go down and yet no mention of SWIFT? SWIFT for electronic funds transfers. Need to transfer money overseas? Today, it is easy to walk into a bank and transfer money anywhere around the globe. But how does this happen? Behind most international money and security transfers is the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, the SWIFT system. Okay? So whenever you see something that starts with the Society for Worldwide anything, it's going to be hard to replace, man. It's going to be really hard to replace, Ripple. Sorry, but so SWIFT has literally globalism in its title, right? It's a vast messaging network used by banks and other financial institutions to quickly, accurately, and securely send and receive information such as money transfer instructions. Although it's done faster and cheaper with Ripple, and MoneyGram actually uses Ripple. Look it up. In 2019, more than 11,000 SWIFT member institutions sent approximately 33.6 million transactions per day through the network. In this article, we will explore what SWIFT does, how it works, and how it makes money. The key takeaways are the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications is a member-owned cooperative that provides safe and secure financial transactions for its members. So here we have the same kind of language used around who owns the Federal Reserve. Well, it's a member-owned cooperative. Okay. All right, cool. Who's in the cooperative? Well, I can't tell you that. Well, so the core institution that we build the entirety of our society around is secret. Again, this payment network allows individuals and businesses to take electronic or card payments even if the customer or vendor uses a different bank than the payee. SWIFT works by assigning each member institution a unique ID code that identifies not only the bank name, but country, city, and branch. SWIFT assigns each financial organization a unique code that has either 8 characters or 11 characters. The code is interchangeably called the Bank Identifier Code, or BIC, SWIFT code, or SWIFT ID. To understand how the code is assigned, let's look at the Italian bank Unicredit Banca, headquartered in Milan. It has 8-character SWIFT code, UNCRTMM. CRITMM. So the first 4 characters are the institution, the next 2 characters are the country code, the next 2 characters are the location and the city code, and the last 3 characters, optional, are the organizations used to assign to individual branches. So assume a customer of a Bank of America branch in New York wants to send money to his friend who banks at the Unicredit Banca branch in Venice. The New York customer can walk into his Bank of America branch with his friend's account number and Unicredit Banca's unique SWIFT code for his Venice branch. Bank of America will send a payment transfer SWIFT message to the Unicredit Banca branch over the secure SWIFT network. Once Unicredit Banca receives the SWIFT message about the incoming payment, it will clear and credit the money to the Italian friend's account. So, like I described earlier, it's just a way to forward load the money. So, this payment institution is going to guarantee, I'm sending this to you. It's going to take a week to get there, but it is coming. And then the other bank, because it's also a SWIFT member, says, okay, Bank of America told us that the money's coming, so we're going to go ahead and credit your account, and you can go do your thing. You can see this when you open a Robinhood account, when you open a Coinbase account. The money is transferred to your account. You're able to spend that money and invest it as you see fit, and then the money actually isn't transferred out of your account for like another week, right? So that's what the SWIFT system does. So my question to you would be, if the entirety of the Federal Reserve System went down, how did the SWIFT system not go down? If the SWIFT system did go down, why is it conveniently removed from the list of services that went down when they were talking about the Federal Reserve earlier today? And the Daily Mail has a screenshot from when all the services went down, and this is a screenshot, service status, and it shows you account service, central bank, check 21, check adjustments, Fed ACH, Fed cash, Fed wire funds, Fed securities. Everything was down, all red X. But now when you go to the Federal Reserve status, you can see, even though they're reporting that everything's back up and running, some things are not. So why am I making this video? Well, because we're right in the middle of the great financial reset, right? And so when you have the great financial reset happening, and you have RippleNet being sued by the SEC, and then you have this entire system go down, you have to have your ears perked. You have to be looking for problem, reaction, solution, because the Federal Reserve banks are definitely working together to create a digital Federal Reserve currency. And the way to introduce that is going to be through a problem, because that's how they work. They're not going to do it just, oh, we're going to roll out this new wonderful central bank currency and everything might be a little rocky for a little while, but it's going to be okay. No, it will be a giant problem that must be solved, and they will have the solution already typed out. They always do. There's like an 800-page report that can come out the next day after something happens. And that's what we really have to be looking for. Is there going to be more problems with the Fed system in the days and months coming ahead? Because as they start to show the public, oh, there's a problem with the Federal Reserve digital processing system, they're going to start introducing the solution. And the solution will be the Great Financial Reset. So in that context, every time the Fed system goes down, we have to really be looking at it closely. What is really going on? Because we have to be aware of the Hegelian dialectic, right? All right, y'all, quick one. Like, share, sub the channel. Any way to tip me will be in the pinned comment below if you'd like to do so. I love y'all. Talk to you soon. Peace.